So this video is very controversial. The topic that we're talking about in this video is extremely controversial, but it's got to do with video games, something that I love a lot. And I think that this is a really good discussion to talk about because, you know, with this, I can kind of see a little bit of both sides with it. But I think that, like, personally, I'm leaning more towards one side, especially because I've been thinking about this for a little while now. Like, this originally came out all yesterday, right? Where on Twitter, there was a tweet that came out, well, multiple tweets came out, that apparently Hunter Schafer is reportedly being eyed to play Princess Zelda in the live-action Legend of Zelda film. Now, if you don't know, The Legend of Zelda is being made into a film, and it's reportedly being released in March of 2027. So still a long way to go. Like, obviously from this tweet, and there hasn't been any, like, official castings yet of it as well. So they haven't even, like, started filming for this. I don't know if they're in, like, even pre-production of this in terms of, like, writing a script. More of pre-production is what I mean. So there's obviously still ways to go. And through this, like, this whole entire time that since it first got announced, right, there's been a lot of fan castings of, like, who should play what, and obviously the internet's gonna have, like, disagreements. But this right here, that once this came out that apparently this was rumored, which I just want to say is that this is only a rumor, and there is a big chance that this rumor isn't even true. Like, at least from what I have seen and from what I have heard, like, online when it comes to a lot of Hollywood rumors, is that a lot of the times these rumors can just be put out by, like, Hunter Schafer's publicist, just to kind of, like, not necessarily pressure the production company to hire them, but just kind of to, like, put their name out there as, like, hey, you should hire this person, and then get, like, see what the internet says about this, you know, so-called rumor, and see if it's, like, a good choice that the, you know, the production company should go ahead and hire Hunter for this. So that's all it really could be, is them just trying to, like, test the waters a little bit to see what people would say about this, and possibly, you know, get the company that's, you know, making the film from Zelda, because I'm not exactly sure which company and who's directing the film exactly. So it could just be that. But like I said, is that this is a rumor going around. And obviously, whenever it comes to this, because if you don't know, Hunter Schafer is a transgender person, originally born as a biological male, and then at some point in their life, I'm not exactly sure of, like, when they did, but they eventually transitioned into a female, and now they identify as a woman. And obviously because of that, it has stirred up a lot of, like, talk on the internet, and a lot of people going back and forth between these two, right? And at first, you know, I can even admit that Hunter Schafer, Hunter does look like relatively like a little bit Zelda, you know. They have, as a lot of people would say, those elvish features, right? Obviously elves, they're not real things, they're just a fantasy, but elvish, they do have, you know, those very, like, you know, chiseled jaw, you know, a very pale skin, very thin, and Hunter does have a little bit of those features as well. But obviously, despite that, is that a lot of people aren't happy because, you know, Hunter themselves is not a biological woman. And as that, I can see that as, you know what, fair enough. And before you go writing in the comments, talking about how, like, oh, Donnie, they're just being transphobic, you're being transphobic, stop being a complete bigot about this whole entire situation, blah, 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 blah. Well, couple things first, right? One thing that we need to get down as a fact is that a lot of people are saying that, you know, oh, Hunter's a woman, Hunter is a woman, that's what they are, stop saying that they're not. It's just like, listen, guys, all right? If Hunter wants to identify as a woman, absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong. And I've even said it in multiple videos before. There's nothing wrong with it being a transgender person. Nothing wrong with that. But you still have to admit, and we still have to distinguish the fact that there is a difference between someone who is a transgender woman and a biological woman, or as a lot of people are calling it, a real woman. There is a complete difference. There's nothing wrong with those two differences, but there is still a major difference in those two. One was born a male, one was born a female. You can identify as a woman later on in life and transition. Nothing fucking wrong with that. Go ahead, do what you want. But it still doesn't put you on equal groundings as someone who was actually born a woman. And then I started thinking about this, right? And I was like, okay, what if, right? What if there was a very iconic character who was transgender, right? 30 years, because Zelda has been around since the 80s. Next year will be the 40th anniversary of since The Legend of Zelda came out, okay? It's been a long time, and it's not like with Mario, okay? When it comes to Princess Peach, is that, like, Peach is just kind of there, right? Peach is just fucking there. That's all she's a damsel in fucking distress a lot of the times, right? But like, and the games are called Mario. This is the Legend of Zelda. And me, myself, like, I didn't play much Zelda growing up. It wasn't until I got older that I played Zelda, and I've played Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I've played both of those like over 100 hours. I think Tears of the Kingdom, I have like almost like 150 to 200 hours in that game, and I fucking loved it. And one thing that I realized when I was first playing through those is that Zelda plays a much bigger part in the story and in the world than like Peach does when it comes to Mario, right? And I'm just putting those two, like, comparing them because they're both, you know, where they got the heroes male and then there's the, you know, female who's always in distress or something like that. But, you know, Zelda still does play a bigger part in that. So she's extremely iconic. And like I said, 40 years next year. So imagine if there was a transgender character that had been around for that amount of time, like a 30-year-old transgender character has been around in video games, and they decided to make it into a movie, and then they went to go and cast like someone who was a biological male or biological female in that casting. You know for a fact is that the trans community and people who are in support of that would be in fucking uproar about that situation. So that's why when I see it like that, and when I think about it like that, I'm like, now you can see of why people aren't happy with this. Zelda is an extremely iconic character. Like I said, has been around for almost 40 years. She's one of like the most recognizable video game characters out there. An extremely iconic female character. And obviously, people aren't happy if they go ahead and cast a transgender woman in this role. And people are also acting like Hunter Schafer is the perfect fit. They're the perfect fit. Oh, they would make such a good actress for this role. They would fit so well as Zelda just because of the looks. And they're making it out like there's not anyone else that has these type of features in this world. I mean, obviously they're not going to be hired in it, but you can just look at cosplayers. Like, how many times do you see Zelda cosplayers and they're like, damn, they have those type of features and they look extremely great of when you compare them to like Zelda in the video games. And then not just that, but I also want to put up another counter argument that I've seen a lot of people say is Anya Taylor-Joy. She has those similar features of when it comes to, you know, as a lot of people call it, those elvish features. And then when you look at like the history of like, you know, their performances, Hunter Schafer really doesn't have like an extensive filmography. Like, besides Euphoria, they're really not known for anything else. Like they don't have that much. They haven't really been in much. They haven't. And you look at someone like Anya Taylor-Joy, who has an extensive filmography and is established as like a very good actress. Where Hunter Schafer, like, I'm just going to be honest, right, is that besides Euphoria, they're really kind of only like around and well known because of the fact that they identify that they're a transgender person. Like, outside of that and Euphoria, I've never heard of like Hunter Schafer been talked about, like, ever. Like, I never hear about like, oh, they were in this, they were in that, they were in this. It's just mainly the fact of how they identify. That's really the only things that ever comes up with Hunter. But I did see someone post this on Twitter saying that they have the perfect role for, they said Mr. Hunter Schafer. And they put, oh my fucking God. Oh no. This, just saying that Hunter should play Tingle is, that's a bit too far, okay? I think that Hunter, if they want to like cast Hunter in this movie, they'd make a great link, okay? I'm joking. That was a joke, okay? Don't come at me at the comments for that. It was a joke, all right? And I also think that people who are coming out and saying stuff like this, saying, I didn't want Hunter Schafer to play live action Zelda, but I do now out of spite. Doing things out of spite, I'm just saying this, all you're doing is you're just like making more people gonna hate on you and the trans community more. You're not doing any justice, okay? You're not doing any justice by saying stuff like this or saying, oh, I just want Hunter Schafer to be cast in this role because I want to piss people off. Trust me, all you're doing is pushing things backwards. If you think things are going backwards now, all you're doing is helping it, okay? But I think that one thing that both sides can agree on is that if Hunter Schafer actually did get cast as Zelda, it's still not a worse casting than Bella Ramsey as Ellie. But I would like to hear what you guys think about all this down below. Do you think that Hunter Schafer should be cast as Zelda? Do you think that they shouldn't? They should give it to someone else? I mean, I mentioned Anya Taylor-Joy. Do you think that there's another actress out there that would be great to play Zelda? Let me know. But that's going to be it from me. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Peace out.